Russia, Ukraine. Lots of moving pieces and counter directions. First of all, the president is meeting with Zelensky, and Zelensky's been meeting with the sellers of U.S. weaponry. There seems to still be a movement towards the javelins. Thune, again, Tomahawks. Thank you. Thank you. Thune has teased bringing the sanctions bill to the floor before and backed off, but he's saying it again. But then the president talks to Putin and says Putin doesn't want the Tomahawks to be sent. And now he says he might meet. He said he would, but Caroline walked it back a little bit. He might meet with Putin, and some would say, maybe, I don't know if they'd be a cynic or a skeptic, but some would say Putin's just stalling for time again to not actually be serious about negotiating. So, Sean, what's the best case to come out of today's meeting?
By the way, who asked for the call? Did Trump ask to speak with Putin, or did Putin ask to speak to Trump?
Great question. Don't know the answer to that.
I believe Russian asked.
Yeah. So let's level set this real quick. I think Trump is pissed. I think part of the reason whomever called Putin yesterday was to make it clear that I'm strongly considering giving these Tomahawks. I just want everyone to understand when we say he should give them or not give them, like what the reality of that. And I don't think it's that controversial to say this. You give a Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, regardless of how it's done. We give them to someone who gives them to someone who gives them to France, who sends. I mean, bottom line is this: Russia it perceives, they've made it very clear. Putin said, if they end up with U.S. Tomahawks, I don't care how many pass-throughs you do and who Venmos whom. The bottom line is we will assume that as an act of aggression. And we believe that no matter how they ultimately end up in Ukraine, if they are fired upon us and land in Russian territory, that is an offensive action. And I think we all have to be honest. That's what matters. If a Tomahawk lands in Russian territory, we're all in. Okay. Understand that when people say they should give him the missiles, they will use them, right? That's the thing, is that Zelensky will fire them. When he fires them, understand what is about to happen. We are starting potentially World War III. And so every time someone says he should just give them the Tomahawks, understand what you are actually advocating for, because Putin will see that as an aggressive action. He will mobilize his entire country and we will go to war. And I don't think that is a hyperbole or rhetoric. That is the bottom line. And whether or not we ultimately think we'll win that or how soon, that's what will result in this. And I think Trump knows that. His people know that, which is why he's playing a little game of cat and mouse. Zelensky wants him. I might get him to him. And then Zelensky agrees. And then you heard him talk about this in the Oval yesterday. He kind of was joking a little. And he said, I told him, should I give him them or not? And of course he said no, because he understands that if you hand them to Zelensky, he will fire them. And so I think that's where we are, is that Trump's trying to play a little bit of cat and mouse here and say, I'm about to give them to you. You know what's about to happen. And then Putin going, great. If you do that, you know what I'll do in return.
Yeah. Rubio and others are supposed to meet in advance of a potential Trump-Putin meeting. Dan, my guess is that nothing that happened yesterday changes your deep skepticism that Putin's doing anything but playing Trump.
Yeah, first off, I find it ironic. If I recall, just about a year ago, the attack on Harris and Biden was, you didn't give the Ukrainians everything they wanted. And now it's like, well, let's be a little careful about this. Look, peace through strength. The only thing Putin, God bless Rahm Emanuel, if you haven't read it, it is a phenomenal op-ed with just outstanding subtle jabs at the president. Look, how do we gain leverage partially over Hamas? We bombed Iran, right? Well, everything, Sean, you just said, obviously the Russians are a slightly different beast, but Putin knows that Trump doesn't want to do this. Putin knows. So he has no incentive to stop. And I do think he called Trump to get in front of Zelensky, to warm up the president, to tickle the idea of a meeting and peace. And so now he's going to lean on Zelensky. Hey, Putin's getting close. I might have peace. You got to knock it off. And I think Zelensky's like, dude, the only thing he respects is sheer force.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America. And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.